Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has declared completion of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor projects within the stipulated time frame as a national priority and directed to expedite work on these projects. Chairing a meeting in Islamabad to review progress on CPEC and other Chinese projects, the Prime Minister said Mainline 1 is a flagship project of CPEC and a game-changer for Pakistan. He said ML1 will ensure rail connectivity with Central Asian states and lead to development and prosperity of the entire region. He said ML1 will play a cardinal role in the economic development of the country by connecting Pakistani seaports with China and Central Asian states. The Prime Minister said ML1 project will also ensure economic revival and development of Pakistan railways. Shehbaz Sharif welcomed the investment from Chinese companies in Pakistan's solar power projects. He said the government is completing the CPEC projects on priority basis, which were stalled during the last 4 years of the previous government. The Prime Minister said CPEC is entering business-to-business phase from government to government stage. He said now an era of industrial development is going to begin in Pakistan under CPEC. Shehbaz Sharif said Karachi Circular Railways project will reduce traffic issues of the citizens and provide them safe travel facilities.
Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif has said China helped Pakistan in every difficult time, and this is a good example of long-standing relationship between the two countries. He was talking to a delegation of Chinese disaster management experts led by Emergency Commanding Officer Xu Jianbao, which called on him in Islamabad. He informed the delegation that various areas of Sindh and Balochistan are still underwater, in which waterborne diseases are creating new challenges. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif also lauded the Chinese companies working in Pakistan and China for the donations to the Flood Relief Fund. The delegation will provide technical assistance to Pakistan on short, medium and long-term projects in the construction of infrastructure to predict floods and reduce its effects between Pakistan and China. The Chinese delegation has also formed a working group to cooperate with the relevant Pakistani institutions and authorities and will submit a detailed plan and report to the NDMA on Friday for the rehabilitation of people and for the infrastructure in the affected areas.
Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has said Pakistan needs billions of dollars to rebuild the country after calamitous floods uprooted 33 million people. In an interview with Financial Times, he said we need huge sums of money for rebuilding roads, bridges and other infrastructure damages or washed away in recent floods. He said we are not asking for rescheduling of our debt, but we ask for climate justice. The Prime Minister said there is a gap between our demands and what we have received so far. He hinted that failure of the international community to rally resources can fuel political instability in the country. Shehbaz Sharif said Pakistan has been tapping state coffers to help displaced families and buy provisions such as tents, medicine, food packs and drinkable water. He said Pakistan would also seek additional funding from wherever we can. He said Pakistan is in a war against climate change-induced havoc and it has become a victim. The Prime Minister said that tomorrow another country can be a victim of this and we don't want that to happen.
Finance Minister Ishaq Dar has expressed the resolve to put the country again on the development path by revamping the economy. Addressing a ceremony in Islamabad, he said the government is taking measures to stabilize the economy. He said recent floods have adversely affected Pakistan's economy. The Finance Minister also said political stability is vital for the promotion of investment and everyone will have to agree on the chart of economy. Ishaq Dar expressed the belief that Pakistan will not default. The Finance Minister stressed the need to use technology in the modern-day governance. He recalled that Pakistan was making rapid progress during the previous tenure of the PMLN government.
On the other hand, Minister for Planning and Development S. Iqbal has said Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's visit to China next month is expected to give a new impetus to China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project. Talking to the media persons in Islamabad, he however regretted that PTI chairman Imran Khan, through its long march, wants to damage Pakistan's image at the international level. He said no progress was seen on CPEC project during the government of PTI. The Minister for Planning said the general elections will be held in October next year. He said the results of population census will be available by March next year, following which the Election Commission of Pakistan will require 4 months for delimitation of constituencies. He said the government during the next 5 to 6 months will focus entirely on the rehabilitation of flood-affected people. He said Pakistan at this juncture requires stability and unity to cope with the challenges of terrorism and floods devastation.
President Dr. Arif Alvi has said amid the evolving global challenges, the way forward for Pakistan is to outline a national strategy securing the domains of both traditional and non-traditional security, including the cyber warfare. He said this while addressing the inaugural session of the Global Strategic Threat and Response 2022 conference on challenges and opportunities evolving the global order, arranged by Center for Aerospace and Security Studies in Islamabad. The president said the renewed world order demanded sustainable conditions, ensuring the internal and external opportunities for all citizens for a prosperous future. Dr. Arif Alvi highlighted that in the era of cybersecurity, metaphysics and artificial intelligence, the country needed to invest efforts in developing capabilities to handle and manage data integration in areas of social importance. He emphasized the need for fortifying the hybrid firewall at the institutional level to prevent any operational disruption in vital fields such as finance and defense. Speaking on the occasion, Chief of the Air Staff, Air Chief Marshal Zahir Ahmed Babar Sidhu, said to address the challenge of cybersecurity, promoting the national resolve and national institutional reforms is significant. He said Pakistan Air Force was actively pursuing the security objectives as the world witnessed contemporary challenges of the military and psychological warfare. Emphasizing the importance of aerospace industry, he announced the opening of National Operations Airspace Center in Canberra in the next 5 months.
The Supreme Court of Pakistan has fixed the hearing of a reference filed in the RICO Deck case by President Dr. Arif Alvi. The President, on the advice of Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, filed the reference on Tuesday to seek the top court's opinion on the RICO Deck settlement agreement. 5-member larger bench headed by Chief Justice Umar Atta Bandial will hear the presidential reference. Other members of the bench include Justice Ejazul Ehsan, Justice Munib Akhtar, Justice Yahya Afridi and Justice Jamal Khan Mandukhil. Hearing of the RICO Deck reference will take place on October 25th. Earlier, the federal cabinet approved sending a presidential reference related to the RICO Deck case to the country's top court, after which the president filed the reference on Prime Minister Shehbaz's advice.
Moving on further, the lawmakers have called for paying immediate attention to address the issues in Balochistan and also initiate truth and reconciliation process for this purpose. Speaking on a point of order raised by BNP leader Akhtar Jan Mengal in the National Assembly, Defence Minister Khaja Mohammad Asif said the political leadership should take initiative to find a permanent solution to the problems faced by the people of Balochistan. The Defence Minister said the points raised by Akhtar Mengal regarding the Balochistan situation are genuine and there is a dire need to heal the wounds of the people of the province. The Defence Minister also voiced concerns over the security situation in Sabat and other areas, warning this could also spread to the other areas as well. He said responsibility rests with all the institutions to find a solution to the threats faced by the state. Minister for Defence Khaja Mohammad Asif proposed that either a Truth and Reconciliation Commission or a Judicial Commission be formed to address the situation in Balochistan. He said he will also raise the issue in the federal cabinet. The federal minister Javed Latif said that grievances of the people of Balochistan and other areas can be addressed by implementing the constitution in letter and spirit. In his remarks on the occasion, Minister for Human Rights Mia Riaz Hussain Pirzada emphasized for taking collective and strong decisions to ensure the protection of the people and their rights, of course. Minister for Climate Change Shahri Rahman said Pakistan has paid a heavy price in the war on terrorism, adding that the terrorists cannot be allowed to resurge again in Sabat or other areas. Mohsin Davar also supported the establishment of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, saying it is imperative to take the country in the right direction.
Advisor on Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan affairs Qamar Zaman Kara called on Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in Islamabad. During the meeting, they discussed the matters pertaining to Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan as well as the country's overall situation.
Members of the National Assembly from different constituencies separately called on Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in Islamabad. Issues about their respective constituencies were discussed during the meeting.
Pakistan People's Party, under the leadership of Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, held a rally in Malir, Karachi to express gratitude for the success in the by-elections. Speaking at the rally, Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari said that Imran Khan showed his politics instead of helping the flood victims. He said those who raised the slogan of change spread havoc everywhere in the country. Foreign Minister and Pakistan People's Party Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari expressed gratitude in Malir, Karachi and said that the people of Malir have once again expressed their trust in the People's Party. He said that the foreign policy of Imran Khan was a failure and he made false promises of providing jobs and roofs to the people.
Well, Pakistan has reiterated its desire to further strengthen the cooperation with Indonesia, especially in the realm of defense production. The desire was expressed by Minister for Defense Khaja Muhammad Asif while talking to the ambassador of Indonesia, Adam M. Tugyu, in Islamabad. The defense minister welcomed the dignitary and conveyed that Pakistan attaches great value to its relations with Indonesia, which are governed by mutual respect and cooperation. Khaja Muhammad Asif said regional and global stability, security and peace are our common interests. He appreciated Indonesia's efforts for providing platform for creating a favorable and peaceful environment in Asia-Pacific region in the form of Jakarta International Defense Dialogue.
A committee has been formed to implement joint projects between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia in the fields of film and drama. The decision was made in the meeting between Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Mariam Aurangzeb, and Saudi Ambassador to Pakistan, Nawaf bin Saeed Al Maliki, in Islamabad. The minister appreciated Ambassador's efforts for relief activities in the flood-affected areas. She said, as per vision of Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, Pakistan desires to further strengthen trade and business-to-business linkages between the two countries. Speaking on the occasion, the ambassador said Pakistanis working in Saudi Arabia are playing a key role in the development of the kingdom. Expressing his sympathies over the losses and floods, he said Saudi Arabia will continue to support Pakistan in this hour of need.
Ambassador of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to Pakistan, Nawaf bin Saeed Al Maliki, called on Federal Minister for Power Division, Engineer Khurram Dastagir Khan, in Islamabad. The minister appreciated the deep and long-standing friendly relations between both the countries. He said the present government's solar initiative is a huge opportunity for Saudi investment. The Saudi companies are welcomed in this regard. The ambassador said that Pakistan had immense potential and must be rebranded on global fora. The business community of Pakistan needs to explore the Saudi market. He said the Saudi government is committed to enhancing cooperation in the energy sector and values its partnership with Pakistan.
Minister for Power Engineer Khurram Dastagir Khan held a meeting with Danish delegation headed by Ambassador of Denmark to Pakistan, Jacob Lenolf. The meeting discussed Danish Energy Transition Initiative, a project of Denmark and Pakistan that has been ongoing for a year now. In this regard, Denmark will conduct technical workshops in Pakistan for capacity building. Denmark has successfully transitioned from fossil fuels to renewable and has great expertise in this field. Danish envoy remarked that they would like to put that knowledge into this collaboration. Applauding Danish initiative, Minister for Power said transforming the energy mix and increasing reliance on renewables is the need of the hour and the way forward. He said Pakistan will benefit a lot from Danish experience. The minister also welcomed the interest of Danish side in conversion of waste to energy. He apprised the delegation of the solar initiative and plans of government to substitute fossil fuel plants with solar.
Minister of State for Foreign Affairs Hina Rabbani Khair has held separate meetings with senior French officials in Paris and discussed the areas of cooperation between the two countries. Those whom the Minister of State met included the diplomatic advisor to French President Emmanuel Bon, Additional Director General of French Development Agency Bertrand Wauquiez, and President of France-Pakistan Friendship Group in the French Senate, Pascal Ellerat and Giselle Yoda. Both sides discussed political, trade, investment, economic, cultural and educational ties between the two countries, as well as the situation of floods in Pakistan.
Minister for National Health Services Abdul Qadir Patel says Pakistan is adopting effective measures under a coordinated strategy to completely eradicate polio from the country. Addressing the World Health Summit in Berlin, he said despite the recent floods that badly affected the country's health system, the government is determined to complete the task of polio eradication and protecting children from the crippling disease. Speaking on the occasion, Chair of Child Global Health Hospital for Sick Children Canada, Dr. Zulfi Bhutta said Pakistan has made incredible progress against polio, but the recent challenges have allowed the virus to persist.
On the other hand, Minister for Information and Broadcasting Maryam Aurangzeb has strongly denounced the language used by PTI Chairman Imran Khan against some journalists. In a tweet, she was critical of Imran Khan's politics, saying nobody, including national interests, institutions and martyrs, are safe from his slander campaign.
Center for Aerospace and Security Studies has organized a two-day international conference titled G-Star in Islamabad. Details on the following report by our special correspondent Raza Khan.
Center for Aerospace and Security Studies has organized a two-day international conference titled G-Star or Global Strategic Threat and Response at Air Headquarters Mess in Islamabad. President of Pakistan Dr. Arif Alvi was the chief guest during the inaugural session. Chief of Air Staff Air Chief Marshal Zahir Ahmed Babar Sidhu also attended the session. First day of G-Star conference consisted of multiple sessions throughout the day.
We've had the inaugural session today and the first session of the event. Both these sessions have gone extremely well. Let me thank the Honorable President of Pakistan, Air Chief Marshal Babar Sidhu, for their excellent thought and discourse on the conference.
Experts from the fields of defense and security, as well as foreign policy and finance, spoke during the various sessions.
This conference, I think, is off to an excellent start. Very good introductory remarks by the President of Pakistan and the head of the Air Force, and I think the first session as well has really set the stage. There's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of participation, so I think it's an excellent thing. And I'm really pleased to see how the think tank culture is growing in Pakistan.
The Global Strategic Threat and Response is an annual platform of the Pakistan Air Force, which is being spearheaded by Center for Aerospace and Security Studies. Its major thrust this year has been to look at the global security developments and then also to see whether or not we are already in that position where geoeconomics can be a real potential.
A comprehensive discussion on various aspects of the topic took place.
The two sessions of today's, one on evolving international security environment and the other on geoeconomics, and there's still a lineup of speakers for these two sessions have developed very efficiently on some of the very pressing challenges facing Pakistan and rest of the world. So I am definitely proud as a team member of CAS for pulling off another successful event.
Local and foreign diplomats, retired and serving officials from armed forces, foreign military attachés, academicians and research analysts attended the event. Day one of G-Star conference arranged by CAS concluded here in Islamabad, and it was able to convey the point of view of several luminaries, be that from the field of security, foreign policy and other spheres, in front of audiences here in Pakistan. This is Raza Khan reporting for PTV World.
Climate change poses serious threat to mankind, and Pakistan is among the countries that are recurrently affected by climate catastrophes. With a limited and fast-closing window of opportunity to tackle global climate challenge, it is more important now for Pakistan to engage in global climate change discourse and accordingly adjust its development agenda.
Climate change poses serious threat to mankind, and Pakistan is among the countries that are recurrently affected by climate catastrophes. Pakistan has been ranked as the 8th most vulnerable country due to climate change according to Global Climate Risk Index 2021 in terms of climate-related challenges, including water stress, desertification, glacier melting, extreme weather events and spread of diseases. With changing cropping calendar and more erratic and unpredictable monsoon season, Pakistan's food insecurity security is also under increasing threat of climate change. With a limited and fast-closing window of opportunity to tackle global climate change, it's more important now for Pakistan to engage in global climate change discourse and accordingly adjust its development agenda. The extent of climate-induced disaster is indicated by a rapid needs assessment report on Balochistan prepared by PDMA of Balochistan in collaboration with UN agencies, which revealed that monsoon rains and flooding have damaged 117,400 acres or 43% of crops and vegetables and around 35,000 acres or 30% of orchards. Exhibiting urgency of global climate action, newly published research by Canadian scientists reveal that a warming climate could bring viruses in the Arctic into contact with new environments and hosts, increasing risk of viral spillover. The 2022 UN Climate Change Conference, more commonly referred to as COP27, is scheduled to be held from the 6th to the 18th of November in Egypt, and climate financing agenda must be at the forefront to build climate resilience in vulnerable countries.
Vice President Bozkurt has said the Turkish people are with their Pakistani brothers and sisters and will continue to do so. It's best to help Pakistan. Addressing a press conference in Islamabad, Vice President Afad said in order to send humanitarian and aid to the region, goodness train expeditions were established in cooperation with the Turkey Ministry of Transport, and an air bridge was established in cooperation with the Turkey Ministry of National Defense. He said, in addition, preparations have been started for the Pakistan Goodness Ship expedition, which will depart from Turkey. Bozkurt said a total of 15 planes carrying aid, 13 Goodness train expeditions and local supply to the region. The items included 35,000 family tents, 4,700 food parcels, 2 million units of medical supplies, and 5,366 blankets, mattresses, pillows, and 6,555 kitchen kits, 34,219 units of clothing and carpet, 2 mobile health units, and camps and 50 motorboats. Turkey is the first country to send humanitarian aid to Pakistan, where floods have already caused the death of thousands of people and forced hundreds of thousands to abandon their houses.
Police have arrested Samina Shah, the mother of the main accused Shah Nawaz in Sarainam murder case. Police made the arrest as additional session judge Sohail cancelled her pre-arrest bail. Police arrested Samina Shah from the court premises.
Indian troops in their fresh act of state terrorism ordered one youth in custody in Shopian district. The youth, Imran Bashir, was arrested by the troops during a cordon and search operation on Tuesday after a grenade blast in which 2 Indian labourers were killed in Hermain area of the district. The troops then took him to Naugam area of the district and killed him in a fake encounter. The killing of the youth is a glaring example of how Indian Army and paramilitary personnel are brutally crushing the Kashmiris' ongoing freedom struggle.
Well, world at large now, and starting off with India, where India's opposition Congress party has declared veteran leader Mallikarjun Kharge its new chief, the first person from outside the influential Nehru-Gandhi family to hold the beleaguered party's presidency in 24 years. The Congress, which held an election for the post, hopes to revive its flagging fortunes with new leader after losing 2 general elections and control of some state assemblies to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party. Despite the change at the top of the Congress, the BJP, which advocates a hard-right nationalist stance, appears to be in a strong position to win a 3rd successive term in the general elections due by 2024. The 137-year-old Congress, which helped win India's independence from colonial power Britain and then dominated politics for decades, has long championed a secular policy. Kharge, an 80-year-old from the lowest rung of India's caste system, is seen as a Gandhi family loyalist. He overwhelmingly won the party vote, defeating the former UN diplomat Shashi Tharoor.
Russia announced the evacuation of civilians from a key southern Ukrainian city on Tuesday as it acknowledged the situation for its troops on the ground in Ukraine was tense in the face of a counter-offensive. Russian General Sergei Surovikin, who has been in charge of recent operations in Ukraine, said the army was preparing to evacuate civilians from the city of Kherson. Speaking on Russian television, General said Ukrainian troops using HIMARS rockets were hitting the city's infrastructure and housing. Kherson was the first city to fall to Russian forces after the Kremlin launched its invasion on February 24th. But Ukrainian troops have been pushing increasingly closer to the city in recent weeks as part of a successful counteroffensive. Ukrainian officials, meanwhile, scrambled to rebuild damaged energy facilities across the country following a series of deadly Russian strikes, and President Volodymyr Zelensky charged that Moscow's perpetrated use of Iranian-made drones in the attacks highlighted its military and political bankruptcy.
On to South Korea now, where South Korean and U.S. troops practiced building floating bridges to ferry tanks and other armored vehicles across the rivers as part of the larger joint drills that have drawn the ire of North Korea. South Korean attack helicopters deployed flares overhead and armored vehicles blew white smoke screens into the air as main battle tanks, armored personnel carriers and other military vehicles crossed the pontoon bridges assembled over the Naman River near Yeoju, south of Seoul. The drill involved the armored attacking forces of the South Korean Army's 11th Mobile Division crossing pontoon bridges established by South Korean and U.S. engineering units.
8 people were killed and 18 wounded after 2 bombs exploded outside a prison in Myanmar's commercial hub Yangon. The junta's information team said the blast hit a crowd lining up to drop off parcels for inmates at Insane Prison. The prison officials said at least 3 prison staff were among the dead.
Similar scenes, Indonesian Health Ministry said close to 100 children have died from acute kidney injury so far this year as a team of experts investigates the spike in the cases. Health Ministry spokesperson Muhammad Sirahil said at a news conference, as of October 18th, Indonesian authorities have identified 206 cases of acute kidney injury among children, with 99 fatalities. He said as a preventive measure, the ministry has asked all health workers and all health facilities to temporarily stop prescribing or providing any liquid or syrup medication until our research and investigation is completed. He said that 65% of the cases had been treated in Jakarta.
The Biden administration plans to sell more oil from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve in a bid to dampen the fuel prices before next month's congressional elections. According to 3 sources familiar with the matter, the administration is also expected to release further details on timing for refilling the stockpile, reflecting its desire to combat rising pump prices while also supporting domestic drillers with future demand for their oil. The White House and Department of Energy did not respond to requests for comment.
Moving on to France now, where the French President Emmanuel Macron is facing the biggest challenge of his second term as long-running oil depot and refinery blockades create fuel shortages. Transport workers joined the strike for higher wages. The left-wing CGT union voted to extend stoppages at several oil refineries and depots operated by the French energy giant Total Energies. The 3-week strike continued to seriously disrupt the fuel distribution across the country, particularly in northern and central France and the Paris region.
According to newly published research, a warming climate could bring viruses in the Arctic into contact with new environments and hosts, increasing the risk of viral spillover. Scientists in Canada wanted to investigate how climate change might affect spillover risk by examining samples from the Arctic landscape of Lake Hazen. The team sampled soil that becomes a riverbed for melted glacier water in the northern summer, as well as the lake bed itself, which required clearing snow and drilling through 2 meters of ice, even in May, springtime in Canada, when the research was carried out. They used ropes and a snowmobile to lift the lake sediment through almost 300 meters of water, and samples were then sequenced for DNA and RNA, the genetic blueprints and messengers of life.
The 20th typhoon of this year, Nishat, is approaching southern China's coastal areas and will bring extreme weather such as strong winds and storm to many places including Guangdong and Henan provinces in the coming 2 days. Triggered by Nishat, Haikou and Sanya cities in Henan have activated level 3 emergency response to the floods and gales. All kindergartens in Sanya have been closed since Monday noon and those in Haikou have been closed since Tuesday noon. In addition, Henan, round the island, high-speed railways and Haikou suburban trains have been suspended. All the freights at the Sanya Phoenix International Airport were also cancelled. Some 5,000 fishing boats have returned to the wharves and the firefighters have made full preparations for emergency response and rescue works.
Super luxury car maker Rolls-Royce has unveiled its first ever fully electric coupe, the Spectre, more than 120 years after their founder predicted an electric future for his cars. In 1900, co-founder of the company Charles Rolls said electric vehicles would be a clean, quiet alternative to the internal combustion engine, providing there was sufficient infrastructure. Spectre can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4.3 seconds. There are 18 different sensors that monitor the suspension, steering, braking, and power to keep the car stable when cornering on any road surface. The traditional opulent finish is unchanged with available options including thousands of softly illuminated stars in the doors, roof lining and dashboard and original artwork. The first Spectres will be delivered to customers by the end of next year.
The 33rd death anniversary of renowned TV versatile actor Salim Nasser is being observed today. Salim Nasser was born in November 15, 1944 in Nagpur, British India. He started his professional career from the film Zebun Nisa in 1976. His famous plays are Aakhri Chatan, Nishane-Haider, Ankahi, Dastak and Angan Tehra. Sultan Jalaluddin in the serial Aakhri Chatan and Captain Sarwar Shahid in the drama series Nishane-Haider were his famous roles. He was awarded President's Pride of Performance Award posthumously. He died on this day in 1989 in Karachi.
If you have a sweet tooth, Cakeland may be just the place for you. Cakeland is an immersive art gallery in Los Angeles built to feel like a giant, dazzling, multi-layered cake. It's made entirely of artificial materials. Real sugar would cause an art infestation, and visitors to Cakeland walk through a series of maze-like rooms built from the ground up out of what looks like lavishly decorated cakes, complete with cherries, whipped cream, and layers of cake. Artist developed Cakeland after he noticed the effect his artificial cake sculptures were having on viewers.
A farewell ceremony for the two giant pandas, Sekhai and Jingjing, heading to Qatar was held at Giant Panda Conservation and Research Center in China's Sichuan province. Their trip for China-Qatar Giant Panda Conservation and Research Cooperation marks the first time for giant pandas to be in the Middle East. Chinese teams made up of experienced breeders and veterinary experts were also sent to Qatar for on-site guidance to help the two giant pandas adapt to their new environment quickly.
Stars of Netflix's big fall fantasy fairy tale, The School for Good and Evil, walked the red carpet in LA at its premiere. The story tells the tale of two misfit best friends who aspire to be a princess and a witch one night. A powerful force whisks them away to the school for good and evil, a place designed to keep the balance of good and bad, where the true stories behind every fairy tale are set to begin. Hollywood icons Charlize Theron, Kerry Washington and Lawrence Fishburne joined relative newcomers Sophia Willie and Sophia Ann Caruso, who played the lead roles in director Paul Feig's adaptation of Samantha Shanani's iconic book. The movie is based on the first installment of Shanani's series, which consists of 7 tales.
Bulls appeared victorious at the Pakistan Stock Exchange. Indices accumulated gains all day long, whereas volume surged from previous close. Equity markets around the globe showed mixed trends while crude oil prices moved up north. Gaining 425.95 points to benchmark KSE 100 index recorded intraday high of 42,265.22. It settled higher by 386.78 points. The KMI 30 index inclined by 912.60 points, closing at 70,928.04, while the KSE All Share Index inched up to 57.44 points. Overall market volumes appreciated from 190.27 million shares in last session to 249.74 million shares. Meanwhile, Pakistan's rupee posted a decline for the sixth consecutive session against the US dollar and depreciated 0.53% in the interbank market today. As per the State Bank of Pakistan, the rupee closed at 220.88 after depreciating 1.17 rupees. The rupee has cumulatively depreciated 3.09 rupees in the last 6 trading sessions. On Tuesday, rupee had registered a decline for the 5th straight session against the US dollar and closed at 219.71 after depreciating 0.82 rupee. UK food prices are rising at their fastest rate in 42 years as the cost of living crisis continues to squeeze household budgets. Food costs jumped 14.6% in the year to September, the biggest rise since 1980, with bread, cereal, meat and dairy prices all climbing. It comes as people also struggle with higher energy and transport costs. Overall inflation, the rate at which UK prices rise, surged to 10.1% last month and is expected to climb further. The prices of most key items in the average household's food shopping basket went up last month, including fish, sugar, fruit and rice. Experts say that the rise in the cost of groceries has been accelerated by the war in Ukraine, which has disrupted grain, oil and fertilizer supplies from the region. The United Arab Emirates has termed the OPEC Plus decision to cut oil production as correct technical choice, which has nothing to do with politics. UAE's Energy Minister Sohail Al-Mazuri comments came after oil producers group endorsed the steep cut to output targets agreed this month. The United States has expressed its displeasure over the decision, which has soured ties with Saudi Arabia. Riyadh has rejected U.S. criticism. OPEC Plus comprises the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies, including Russia. Now, Netflix has reversed customer losses and hopes to attract 4.5 million subscribers by the year's end. From July through September, Netflix attracted 2.4 million new subscribers worldwide, more than double the expectations. The streaming giant is working to kickstart membership growth after a sudden decline in the first half of the year, when the company's subscriber base shrunk by 1.2 million amid a rocky global economy and growing competition for online video viewers. Netflix has now a total of 223.1 million subscribers around the world. Tokyo shares closed higher after robust U.S. corporate earnings and rising Wall Street futures helped cheer investors. The benchmark Nikkei 225 index gained 0.37%, while the broader Topix index edged up 0.19%. Hong Kong stocks tumbled after 3 days of gains, with traders left unimpressed by city leader John Lee's first policy address, in which he vowed to boost the economy but would press on with a political crackdown. The Hang Seng Index fell 2.38%. The Shanghai Composite Index lost 1.19%, while the Shenzhen Composite Index on China's second exchange slipped to 1.16%. And finally, with the weather updates, rain, wind, thunderstorm with snow over high mountains is expected in Kashmir, Gilgit-Baltistan, Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Islamabad and Upper Punjab during the next 24 hours. According to Met Office, isolated hailstorm is also expected during this period. However, dry weather is expected in other parts of the country. Met Office said a westerly wave is affecting upper parts of the country and likely to persist during the next 24 hours. Well, that's all from my side. Over to Ali and Hira now.
Well, thank you, Abdullah. With this, we come to the end of the bulletin. That's all from our side. Myself, Ali Ahmed, my co-anchors Hira Mustafa and Abdullah Daud. For more details and live streaming, do log on to our website world.ptv.com.pk. You can always find us on our Facebook page in the name of PTV World. And don't forget to follow us on our Twitter handle @WorldPTV. Keep watching PTV World.